morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Littleton. We're so glad you're all here with us today. I'm particularly glad that you're all here with me as I'm taking my maiden voyage. One of the slides earlier said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So here I'm taking my first step. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our online viewers too. We're so glad that you're here. And we're going to begin our service as we always do with prayer. Dear Spirit, thank you for bringing us together in this community where we can share our fellowship and our love and our stories with one another and help each other on the path. Because as Ram Dass says, we're all just walking each other home. Thank you for being here today with us. Thank you for sharing your grace and your wisdom with us. Amen. And now please stand for our first congregational, which is I Choose Love.
Okay.
I was about to tell you. Just a reminder to either mute or turn off your cell phone. My name's Margaret Nowicki. I'll be your platform assistant today. And I'd like to introduce our wonderful musicians, Sharon and Shelley. Thank you for being with us today. It's a real treat. And now for the daily word reading. Comfort. The love in my heart is my comfort. If the sadness of loss diminishes my joy as I think of happy experiences with the loved ones who no longer are with me, I remember that the love we share will bind us together always. Love can never die. Love, the most beautiful attribute of God, is present always and everywhere. I am comforted as my heart opens to the divine love within those I hold dear, no matter where they are on the eternal journey of life. Peace and strength grow in my awareness as I open myself to God's love expression. I bless everyone who comes to mind today with a loving thought. I speak a loving word or perform a simple act of kindness whenever I can. As I begin comfort to others, I am comforted also. Let your steadfast love become my comfort according to your promise to your servants. Psalm 119:76. And now if we'll say our Unity Foundation principles together.
There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
And now our Unity of Littleton affirmation.
We are a vibrant, open-hearted spiritual center, raising awareness of the divine within everyone, welcoming warmly, serving joyfully, growing spiritually, living fully. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here.
At this time, we'd like to especially welcome any guests. We realize that the first few times you visit a new place, there is a process of getting to know people and learning how things work. So if you are here for the first, second, or third time, please stop by our Welcome Center by the entrance door and pick up a small gift we have for you. Our hope and intention is these gifts will help introduce you to our spiritual community. If you are here for the first time or you have changed your address, phone number, or email, please fill out the connection card found in the card pocket of the chair in front of you so that we can stay in contact. You can place the completed card in the offering bag or in the designated basket on the welcoming table located by the entrance door. Thank you. We're so glad each of you has chosen to spend time with us today, and we look forward to having you with us again. We have a time of hospitality following the service. We really encourage everyone to spend a few extra minutes after the service. There are great snacks, and it's a great time to get to know each other better. And now, please join us in singing our next song.
Kind of sway to this one. Take a little love and pass it on. Take a little love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little love and pass it on. Take a little joy and pass it on. Pass it on. Take a little joy and pass it on. Pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little joy and pass it on. Take a little peace and pass it on. Take a little peace and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little peace and pass it on. Take a little smile and pass it on. Pass it on. Take a little smile and pass it on. Pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little smile and pass it on. Take a little hug and pass it on. Take a little hug and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little hug and pass it on. Pass it on.
And now for our announcements. This is a reminder to all active members that this is the time to re-register as a member of Unity of Littleton. As you know, this is our annual occurrence and must be completed before the annual meeting so that you will be eligible to vote for the Board of Trustee candidates. Please fill out the green form located on the information table and give it to Carol Freeman. After service today, Judy Ray will be available to perform a short Reiki treatment to anyone who wishes one. Next week's speaker will be Reverend Wendy Burrows of Live Your Greatness Ministry. Rika would like to make an announcement.
Oh, I just want to say that I put a sign-up sheet for my energy workshop over there, so it's still over there. I just brought those in today. People were asking how to sign up, so
Thanks.
there it is.
Judy Ray would like to make an announcement concerning Don and Mary Ann McCubbin.
One of Mary Ann's favorite songs is Take a Little Love and Pass It On. You can remember she had her little movements and she did. So Don McCubbin called yesterday concerning our beloved Mary Ann, who was our chaplain for so many years. Mary Ann is now at the Life Care Center of Littleton at 1500 West Mill. If you can visit sometime, we all know how Mary Ann loves people. Please try to visit in the morning. That's when she feels the best. And she may not be able to speak to you. I don't know. Don said he doesn't. Please, and then after lunch, that's when she takes a nap. After the service, I will pass around some loving cards for you to sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Mary Ann was such a delight.
She was such a staple person in this church for years.
She is. And now we're especially delighted to present Sharon and Shelley.
All right, this world, as it seems, as we know it, well, it looks like it's going in the wrong direction for many of us. But the beauty is, we can make a difference. We can make a better world. It's up to us. It's our light within that's going to help it to come out of this dark phase it's in, dark ages. We could do it together. And here's the song. Dr. John, he's a doctor, he said it. The world we know was built on skills, but that alone don't count. Without the sweat and toil of mine, it wouldn't be worth a dime. You got to live to give, share and care, really put some love in the air. When your neighbor's down, try to pick him up. Nobody can live in despair. Everybody, let's sing, sing, sing. Let freedom ring, ring, ring. Let's all pitch in and do our thing and make a better world to live in. Everybody, let's sing, sing, sing. Let freedom ring, ring, ring. Let's all pitch in to do our thing and make a better world to live in. You got it. Society has no priority. We're all one part of a whole. When people scream and shout, you have to hear them out. Everybody is a beautiful soul. Yeah. You got to pull together, go hand in hand. You really got to do your best. Yeah. Wouldn't it be a perfect sight to see the whole world filled with happiness? Everybody, let's sing, sing, sing. to make a better world to live in.
Thank you so much, Sharon and Shelley.
You.
That was wonderful. Well, I'm going to turn this. Is that okay? It's blinding me. And your presence here is blinding enough, so. I love it, I love it. I love the light that you all bring. My title of my talk today is called What's in the Way is the Way. All right? And I'm sure I've heard that phrase many, many, many times before. But a few years ago, I was taking an energy workshop because that's what I do. I take energy workshops and I play here. That's my job. And in this workshop, as people who have taken workshops know, there were times when we broke apart and we were working with one another, the students. So I'm trying to get into my space and get all zen, and the person is sitting next to me, and before I could, and those of you who do energy, especially you, Judy, with Reiki, you know you kind of clear your mind, right? That's what you do. You clear your mind, and then it's like the universe, and I use the word the universe because that resonates with me, but you feel free to substitute God or the source or whatever feels better for you, okay? It's all the same thing. We're all talking about the same thing, right?
Right.
So I'm waiting for myself to get all filled and zen and everything, and before I could do a thing, a big purple dinosaur popped up into my head. And I'm like, well, that's not right. And so, of course, I'm trying to brush it out of the way, and it wouldn't. It kept popping up. And I was like, well, now I don't know what to do. And so one of the co-teachers was walking past, and I said, Melissa, I don't know why, but this purple dinosaur, I mean, I can't do my work. It's in the way. And she said, without even missing a beat, she was walking past me. She goes, what's in the way is the way. And I was like, mind blown. I was like, what? This whole time I had been walking my path and thinking, if anything interfered with my path, then I'm off my path, right? Do we think that? We're connected as long as everything's going well, right? But break a nail, chip a tooth, why has God forsaken me, right? Okay. So that got me thinking, what's in the way is the way. What does that mean? That means the whole thing is our path, even the stuff that doesn't feel good, right? So if you believe, as I believe, that we're in co-creatorship with this energy, what part of that is our co-creatorship? And as I thought more, all the stuff that happened to me this year happened, right? So I got thrust into boot camp for this concept as I'm trying to settle my mom's estate and deal with family dynamics, and we all know what that's about, right? I'm sure we've all experienced that. So yay, I get an opportunity to work with this, and that's actually why this is coming up for me now, and that's actually why I'm talking about it. What gift is there in difficult times? Are there gifts? What do we get to do in a difficult time? And my thinking is that the co-creatorship piece is our piece, right? So what we get to do, we cannot change the events around us. What can we change? Our thinking. Thank you, snack queen.
Sorry.
She brings the potato chips every week, just in case you didn't know this. So we can change our perception around the events, right? As Michael Beckwith says, you change the question. What is the question? It's not, why did this happen to me? It's, what attribute would I need to embody if this situation were never going to change? Is it compassion? Is it empathy? Is it tolerance? What is it? Because now I'm beginning to think that all that hard stuff is really where the treasure is buried. We tend to think, oh, this is hard and I'm just going to power through it and I'm not going to just, just going to power through it, and at the end of it all, I'm just going to go and get a martini. Right? But if we do that, are we missing an opportunity to level up? We might be, right? So, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of stories where we got to know why the difficult things happened. These people got to know. First one is Christiana Wati. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she's not here, so I'm going to say it this way. She was planning to ring in the New Year's with her family in Singapore. She and her family, and her brother and his family. There were 10 of them, all total. So the morning of the flight, they're rushing around, packing toothbrushes and making sure they have enough underwear and all the things you do. You know how it is in the morning before you go on a flight. I'm always like, "Ooh, what did I forget? What did I forget?" And I always forget something, right? Do we always forget one thing? And I think, it's sitting on the kitchen sink right now. So they get to the airport only to be told that the flight had left 2 hours before. And so they're rightfully they're upset, right? They're very upset. They just missed their flight. Their whole plan is changed. So they go up to the gate attendant and they're talking to the gate attendant. And why did this happen? And the gate attendant said, "We sent you messages." And they're like, "What messages?" Well, the brother was the point person. And so, of course, he pulls his phone out and he looks at it, and multiple missed calls, missed texts, missed emails. So now their righteous anger shifts from the poor gate attendant to who? Uh-oh. The brother's in the doghouse, right? But what can they do? It's already done. So grumbling, they pile themselves back into the cars and they drive home. And of course, they're still spinning in their story. They're still mad at the brother. Somebody turns on the television set and they find out that the flight that they were all supposed to be on crashed into the Java Sea minutes after it took off. Uh-oh. We were all mad at the brother. Now, not so much, right? How did that change the event? We got to see that the reason that happened, right? For them anyway. There's another story, little Baptist church. I'll tell this one quick. They were all supposed to be at choir practice. They lived in Beatrice, Nebraska. Some of you, do people know where that is? I don't. You do? People know. That's exciting. I had no idea. I should have looked it up. But it's all Nebraska, so at least I know that. So, the church pianist took a nap after dinner, thinking I have plenty of time before the choir practice. And when her mother, who was the choir director, went to wake her up, she did one of these. "Oh, I'm up. We've all done that too, right? So her mother, who was the choir director, and the pianist were late. Then there were 2 sisters. What are their names? Dorothy and Lucille. Remember, this is 1950. I don't know if I said that already. It was 1950. So Dorothy was listening to a radio program. That's something we used to listen to before podcasts. Right? Okay, you know. And she wanted to hear the end of this program. Well, again, this was 1950, right? Where everybody walked uphill both ways to school in waist-deep snow. We didn't have podcasts, did we? So if you wanted to listen to the end of a program, that was your only chance. Okay, so they were late. 2 of the Estes sisters, who were also going to be there, they couldn't get their car to start. So they called their friend LaDonna. LaDonna said, sure, I'll come get you. But I have to do this geometry problem, and it's really hard. So she was late because she was doing geometry. Another lady, Joyce Black, didn't want to go out in the cold because it was too cold. I don't know why she was living in Nebraska, but there she was. So there were any number of reasons that all of the choir directors that evening were late, including the minister. The minister had lit the furnace at the church before going home for his supper. And after supper, he said, let's go. And his daughter had spilled a little bit of supper on her dress, and she refused to go with supper on her dress. I don't blame her. And so the mom had to iron a fresh dress for her. So they were late. All right. So through all these weird circumstances, and everybody was supposed to be there at 7:20 p.m. on the dot, at 7:27, the gas furnace ignited a gas leak that nobody knew about, and the church literally exploded. And no one was in it. Right? So we get to see, okay, geometry saves somebody's life. Has anybody said that before? Probably not. One more. Holly Winter was planning to visit New York City. She had a best friend who lived in Chicago and a best friend who lived in New York City. And she thought, you know what, the New York City friend is so busy, we're just going to come to you and surprise the Chicago person and Holly, who lived in Denver at the time. We're going to surprise the person who lived in New York City with a breakfast picnic. Holly's mom lived upstate. So she called her. She said, hey, Mom, I'm coming to town, and I'll come and visit you after I visit my friends. And her mom said, no, I want to come to Denver. Moms, right? And so Holly said, Mom, you're retired. You can come visit me anytime. Anytime. I have this plan. I took off time. I made these plans with my friend. No, nothing would do. Her mother insisted that she come to Denver. So Holly was very annoyed, and she called her friends, and she said, I'm sorry, I can't be there. And on September 11th, 2001, Holly watched with her mother and the rest of the world in horror as the towers fell, with two of her friends inside. She lost them both. Okay? So sometimes we get this really clear-cut idea of, oh, that's why that happened. That feels good, doesn't it? We all want that. We all want to know the meaning behind everything. But what happens if we don't get to know? What do we get to do in that case? And here's my premise about that. I think I better talk slower. Or say more, one or the other. I'm looking at the clock. Or I'll break into song. I believe that people in the world are mostly good. And if they do things that annoy me, it's not because they're trying to annoy me. They're just maybe clueless or unconscious or whatever those things are. Now, can I prove that? Can I prove that most people in the world are good? Can I? How can I prove such a thing? I can't, can I? But believing it changes the story that I tell myself, right? Believing that allows me to be a better person. If somebody cuts me off in traffic, now I get to say, instead of, what a jerk, he just cut me off in traffic, I get to say, he must be in a hurry. Go ahead. Go in front of me, right? It changes the story I'm telling myself and the stories we tell ourselves every single day. And we tell ourselves a lot of things. I think that's what your talk is about, Marilyn, isn't it? About the thoughts we have. Our thoughts create our reality, don't they? And we're not very mindful of our thoughts. I catch myself all the time, and I'm like, why was I thinking that? I was having a perfectly lovely moment. Where did that come from? Just like the purple dinosaur. So I believe if we believe that people are inherently good and trying to do their best, everybody is just trying to do their best. It does not shift what's happening externally, it shifts what's happening internally, which is all we really can have control over, right? We can't control external circumstances. So if you're wondering how we can do some of these things, here's a couple of strategies for shifting our stories, for shifting our thoughts. I know you all remember when Reverend Janet totaled her car what was that, a few months ago, right? And she came in, did I just lose my,
Out of batteries?
maybe,
I think the platform.
okay,
I'll pop it up there.
Oh, I'm gonna take a few minutes.
it's okay.
Edit.
All right. All right. So here are a couple of thoughts. All right, so Reverend Janet totaled her car. We all remember this, right? And she came in that Sunday morning, and she told me what had happened. And of course, the first response is, oh, no, that's terrible. That's terrible. You know? We feel really bad, and oh, she loved her car, and oh, you know, it's COVID, and so there's a shortage of cars and all of that stuff, right? So we get to spin in that story a little bit. And let me say this, okay? I am not saying stop telling your stories to each other. Because we like telling stories, don't we? And we can savor a good story like other people savor a surf and turf dinner. Am I right?
Yes.
So I am not saying to stop telling our stories. I am saying, can we extract the gold, even if it's just a possibility, and share that too? That's all. Make the story the appetizer. Make the good part the main meal. All right, so Reverend Janet walked in. We commiserated, and then I went back to setting up my gear, and she was somewhere in the back. And at one point, suddenly she just walked right over to me. And she said, Reka, I was just thinking, you know, it was a 3-car little accident. A truck rear-ended her, and she rolled forward and tapped a car that was in front of her. Her car got totaled, and no one else was hurt. Nothing. Nobody was injured, right? And she said, first of all, nobody got hurt. That's a win. I said, yes. And then she said, and I was thinking, if I had not been there with my big car, that truck might have rear-ended this tiny car in front of me, which was being driven by a young mom, and she had her 2 little kids in the back seat. And I thought that was brilliant, because she changed the story. She changed it for herself, and she changed it for me too. That's all I'm saying. How do we do that? There's another story by a man named Jeffrey Allen, and he talks about doing this for a stranger. There was a woman who was a cashier at a grocery store, and Jeffrey Allen is standing in line, and he finally gets to her, and she's having a really bad day. Her boyfriend had just left her, you know, I don't know what else was going on, but it was bad. And so she tells him the whole story. He's a complete stranger. She tells him the whole story. And as he's leaving, he thinks, you know, she's in pain. That's why she's sharing her story, right? She's in pain. She's in the story. And he said, and she may share it with more people because she has to. And he thought, what could I do? And so he put his groceries in his car, and he came back into the store, and there was a little basket of sunflowers for sale. And he picked up a sunflower, and he went back, and he stood in her line, which was considerably longer at this time, and he got up to her, and he bought the sunflower, and he started to walk away. And she said, sir, you forgot your sunflower. And he said, no, I got that for you. And she just burst into tears, and he never saw her again. So we don't know what happened, but think how that may have changed her story. She might be saying, oh, I was having this terrible day, and this perfect stranger bought me this flower. So there's a lot of ways to do it, to change the story and change your life. And if you can't find any of those ways, if none of those ways are working, then you can use the tradition of this Chinese farmer back in decades, almost centuries ago, who lived on a farm with his horse and his young son. I guess his son was in his 20s. And they lived very simply. And the farmer one day woke up to find that the horse had run away. Well, the neighbors come rushing over. Oh no, what terrible, terrible news. And the farmer says, good luck, bad luck, who knows? A few days later, the horse comes back, and with him, a herd of wild ponies. Now the farmer's rich, right? And so the neighbors again rush over with their casseroles and everything, and they say, you know, wow, what great news. And the farmer, very zen-like obviously, says, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Then the son decides he's going to ride one of these wild ponies. Well, what do you think is going to happen to that son? He gets bucked off, right? And he falls down and he breaks his leg. Here come the neighbors. Oh no, that's terrible news, wringing their hands. And the farmer says, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Now, a few days later, the king sends his army out looking for all able-bodied young men. And the son can't go, and the neighbors rush over, that's great news, and the farmer just says, good luck, bad luck, who knows, right? And I think that's a great way to live. We do not know. If we are in co-creatorship with a force that is way bigger than anything that we know, can see more than anything we can see, we don't know. All we can say for certainty is we are in the right place at the right time. And it's up to us to find the gifts, right? And believe me, this is not easy. Some of the things that happened to me, I'm still looking for the gift and I haven't found it yet. So, and if none of those work, none of those things work for you to change your story, I'm going to give you one more thing. There's going to come a day, and there has come this day for us, when it's too much, right? We're on our hands and our knees and we're like, I cannot bear this. I can't bear this. I am just disconnected and I'm lost, right? It's happened. So I'm going to just shift your perspective just a little bit. This comes courtesy of Rob Brezhny, a wonderful writer. And I'm going to use what happened to you all this morning. I'm guessing. I wasn't there, I promise. But this morning, you woke up. And there you were, in your comfy bed, like a little nest, surrounded by your pillows and your blankets. And the air was warm and wonderful. And you wake up and you look around the room and you realize that through the night, your heart has been pumping. It has been doing its job tirelessly. Your blood has been coursing through your veins. Your lungs have been inflating and deflating. Everything has been working as it should. And you never gave thought to any of that, right? The air is this perfect mixture of gases that's right for humans to breathe. That's amazing all by itself. You get up and you go into the restroom. In the restroom, you've got an electric toothbrush and clippers and razors and all kinds of things to make yourself all pretty before you get here, which you used without fear. And probably they all worked. Y'all look great, so I'm guessing they all worked. Then you go into the kitchen. There's a toaster. There's a microwave. There's a coffee maker. All kinds of things. And with the flip of the switch, you can change the temperature of your room. You can make your coffee. You can toast your bread. No grinding meal over the stones and, we don't have to do any of that anymore, right? And that is coming to us courtesy of an electric power plant somewhere where we may not even know it is. And people are working around the clock, right? To make sure that we have electricity safely, because we wouldn't want to touch electricity in its raw form. But because of them, we have electricity in our house, running all these appliances, right? So say you've gotten a lovely shower and, nice warm water. That's another thing. Turn on the tap. Out comes cold water and hot water. It's amazing, right? There was a time when we couldn't do that. There's still people in this country who don't have that. In this country. You go into your refrigerator. There's a ton of food in your refrigerator, pre-packaged. Again, brought to you by farmers whose faces you will never know, right? Whose hands you will never shake. go to the closet and you open your closet. There's clothes in there, clothes that you like to wear. Who made those clothes? Somebody planted cotton, grew the cotton, harvested the cotton, spun it into cloth. Somebody else probably cut the cloth. Somebody else may have stitched it. And that's how you get to wear this pretty blouse that you're wearing that you picked up at Macy's on their half-day off sale, right? So it's like the universe is conspiring. This is the term that Rob Brezhnev coined, pronoia. Pronoia is the antidote and opposite of paranoia. Paranoia is where you're like, everything's, right? And pronoia is when you understand that the universe is conspiring to shower you with blessings. So by this time, it's maybe, let's say 9 o'clock. You've had your coffee, you've had your toast. How many things have already gone right for you today? That go right every day. So if you put that into context of all the things that go right every single day, how does that change the thing that maybe the toaster broke or you spilled coffee on your dress and you had to change? Does it change it a little bit? It does for me. So, you are co-creators. You get to create the story. You get to create your perspective, right? That's our part in co-creatorship. So let me ask you, co-creators, what are you going to create today? And now to lead us into the time of our meditation, let's all sing the Lord's Prayer together.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Leave us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory
This is the time of our meditation. So take some deep cleansing breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your body. And I want you to feel the space around your heart. And pick one thing that happened to you that you are grateful for today. Just one thing. It doesn't have to be big. It can be that you're having a great hair day. It can be that you had the perfect cup of coffee. Pick one thing. And as you think about that thing, feel the gratitude in your heart. Gratitude is your superpower. It It's like love. The more gratitude you have, the more blessings you get. The more gratitude you give to other people, the more gratitude they feel. So feel that gratitude just filling your heart. And then filling, going down your torso, down your legs, into your feet, up into your shoulders, down your hand, arms into your fingers, up your neck and into your head. You're filled with gratitude for all the miracles that happen every day to make you who you are. Feel that gratitude spill out past your own body, out into this room, filling the entire room. As we sit in this little sea of gratitude, and as we have gratitude and share it, it spills out beyond our community, out into the rest of the world, to do the kind of good that we may not even know how it's shifted somebody's life. Feel that gratitude in your heart as we sit together meditating upon that in the silence. Dear Spirit, we thank you for all the blessings you shower upon us daily. We are so grateful to be in co-creatorship with you. And so we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Oh God, from whom the breath of life comes, who fills out heaven and earth, may your light shine within us. May we know you're not separate from us. May we feel you in our hearts. Let your will come true. Let us love like you. Thanks for your forgiveness. May we forgive ourselves and others too. Thank you for guiding our steps while we're here. May we walk in love, not fear. When we listen, your message is clear. The kingdom of heaven is here. The kingdom of heaven is here. The kingdom
This is our offering time. If you would prefer to give by credit or debit card, there are forms to use in the card pockets of the chair in front of you. For those of you joining us online, if you would like to make a donation, please go to our webpage at unitylittleton.org. Click on the Contact Us tab and then on the Donate button. If you would prefer to mail a check, our mailing address can be found on that page also. Thank you for your gifts. I invite you now to take your offering in your hands as we prepare to bless it. What a joyous blessing it is to be able to give freely from a place of love and abundance. We can give in a way knowing that what we give goes out to bless others and that we are blessed in return, because that is the law of circulation. We also give in the knowledge and understanding that God's abundance is inexhaustible. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Thank you, God. Unity of Littleton wholeheartedly believes in tithing. This week, our tithe goes to Wanda Benningham. And thank you, Wanda, and appreciation for starting us off on the right path. And now, once again, it's our pleasure to present Sharon and Shelley.
First of all, I want to thank you, Reka, for that beautiful, delicious talk. It wasn't that fabulous? Yes. You know, God gave us so much light so that we wouldn't have to live in total darkness, right? And we have the sun, we have the moon, the stars, and we are here to shine. That's what we do. We shine. We can either shine or we can just hide in the darkness. But God wants us to shine. And that's what I think I'm hearing from, I almost said Reverend Reka. But in any case, no, it's a thought. It's just a thought. And so anyway, this song is called Shine the Light into the World. That means shine your light into the world. Shine the light into the world. Yes. Shine the light into the world. Come on. Shine the light into the world. Let it shine. It is time for one and all to live the dream, answer the call. Yeah, there is enough love in our hearts to change the world. Change the world. Shine the light into the world. Shine the light into the world, come on, yeah. Shine the light into the world. Let it shine, yeah. One by one, we'll plant the seeds. Wherever there's a need, we are the very hands of love, reaching out to the world. Shine the light into the world, come on.
Come on.
Yes. Shine the light into the world. Shine place in our human evolution, people get ready for the love revolution. For every problem, there is a solution. Now is the time to put on your shine. Where is God in the midst of tragedy, but living in the hands and the hearts of humanity? Answer the call and love will set you free. Now is the time, put on your shine, shine the light into the world. Come on, come on, yeah, 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 yeah. Shine the light into the world. Ah, yeah. Shine the light into the world. Come on. Oh, shine the light into the world. Ooh, yeah.
Thank you, Sharon and Shelley. You certainly do shine bright. We are grateful for the gift and the giver, and know that in the giving, we place ourselves into the divine flow of our own good. Thank you, God. And if everyone would form a circle for the singing of the peace song. And now as we prepare to sing the peace song, you're invited to extend your hands in front of you, palms up, to offer the universe and each other energy of peace and love as we sing the peace song together. Before we begin singing, let's take a deep breath together and allow the feelings of peace to fill our minds and bodies. Our heart rate becomes calm, and we know in this moment that all is well. As we sing the peace song, we know that just as God declared, "Let there be light," we are declaring peace to be so. Now, if you'll join us in our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And how are we going to go out into the world this week?